This is one of the panels, as I mentioned at the beginning. Portland Development Commission has been a huge proponent and a huge assistant in terms of this program, and this is one of the panels that they helped us put together. I'm super excited about this one for a variety of reasons, but primarily, you know, you get companies like Urban Airship, and you've kind of heard about them and what they're doing, and people in Portland know they're around. Or Meridian, you walk into Powell's or Jeld-Wen Field, and you see their work on a regular basis. But there are a bunch of companies in Portland that are doing amazing technological things and creative things that we don't always get the chance to hear from. And this is one of those panels that I think will probably just kind of blow your mind with the kind of stuff that's going on here in Portland. You heard from the previous panel about customers being in control and customers wanting the ability to control their environment and the situation and the communication. And that's what this next panel is focused on. How do you enable the customer with technology that allows them to change their experience? How do you help them find the things they want to buy? If they've found something they want to buy, how do you help them ensure that it's going to be the right fit or the right size or look the way it should look on them? And how do you use what's available with today's technology to make that happen? And that's what Embody and Foretell are doing. And we're going to have Jared from PDC is going to be moderating.
So for the next hour, just so you have a sense of what to expect, you're going to hear from these two gentlemen to my left, and they're going to tell you about what their companies are doing in revolutionizing the consumer product experience. Before we get started with that, I'm just going to give a little bit of background, tell you why, as an agency, PDC is real excited to be here and be part of this event. As an agency, we really strive to support and create innovation in the city of Portland. And these gentlemen here are a perfect example of that, as well as some of the other programs that we've done as an agency. Everything from supporting the Portland Seed Fund to a new initiative called the Portland 100. You can find out a little bit about that on Silicon Flourish. Rick wrote a blog a little while ago about that. Now I'm loud. The tech industry, which these two gentlemen represent, is a large and growing industry in the Portland region. 52,000 people are employed in that, and the trend suggests that there's going to be 15,000 more people in the next 10 years in that industry. We recognize that, and we want to do everything we can to support that industry. So, and aside from just the pure numbers, urban tech in Portland really is supporting and very important to the city, and it helps spin off the startups and the creative culture that this city is really known for. So without further ado, I'll just give a little bit of background on these two companies, and then you'll hear from these two guys themselves. So Foretell provides next generation personalization technology, and that enables retailers of all sizes to seamlessly deploy customized product recommendations across the web, email, and mobile platforms. Tom Burns is responsible for directing the Foretell brand and all marketing operations with the company. He has 25 years of hands-on experience in the industry. Prior to joining Foretell, Tom held executive positions with multiple companies, and in addition, he also founded Spark Brand Marketing, whose client list includes Sony, IBM, Apple, Hewlett-Packard, and AT&T. He splits his time between Portland and the Gorge, and he windsurfs, snowboards, and bikes an embarrassing amount for someone with a full-time job. On Saturday, he'll be heading off on the 25th annual Cycle Oregon event. Andre is the CEO of Embody, and he's also the founder. His company is creating visualization technology in the apparel industry. Andre was formerly CEO of Mental Images, Inc., the U.S. arm of a rendering and 3D modeling firm for entertainment, computer-aided design, scientific visualization, and architecture industries. Before that, he worked for 20 years at Intel and ran new technology business initiatives for the company. So before Tom gives us a demonstration of what Foretell is doing in this marketplace, I was hoping Tom and Andre, you could explain exactly what personalization is and how you are magically customizing your user's experience.
Sure. I'll say a few words about it. I think the key thing to think about when you think about personalization is I think in two categories. One is around personalization of product, and that's been going on for some time, but it's growing. And personalization of experiences when people are looking for products or services, the experience they have. Some number of years, there was a book titled Experience Economy, which really pointed out how consumers were moving away from simple transaction and really valuing more rich experiences, and Starbucks was held up as a great example to take a commodity coffee and really elevating it to a new level of experience. And Starbucks is also, I think, a good example of personalized product. You know, when you order that half calf, half decaf, skinny milk, caramel macchiato or whatever, that's a personalized product, and a personalized product is fairly easy to deliver for companies that have digital goods or that have goods that are service-based or made on the spot. It's a lot harder for companies that are really reliant on the mass market, mass merchandise production engine, which still the bulk of goods are. So we think of personalization in those two domains: product personalization and then also the experience. How can you deliver a more personalized, tailored experience for someone looking for a product or trying a product, or in general trying to learn or experience a product before committing to a purchase? And I think that's where Tom's work comes in as well.
Yeah, I think one of the things I'm going to talk a little bit about is how much and how quickly the entire retail landscape is shifting. And to Andre's point, you've got tremendous gains in manufacturing efficiencies. And what that's done is that's basically made everything a commodity. And you take a look at the number of channels in which consumers can interface and shop and educate themselves about products and how they navigate through this increasingly complex landscape. The ability to connect with the shopper no matter where they are, and to be able to deliver an engaging experience that leads them to actually reach for the wallet, makes it a transactional experience. The ability to personalize that is becoming the linchpin to successful retailing. And what we're seeing is the collapsing. Traditionally, the online and the offline shopping environments have been really siloed out. And especially I think with the dawn of e-commerce, you go back 12, 15 years, and you could buy something just off the online, but you couldn't turn it into store. And now you're starting to see that really blur, and the number of channels that retailers have in the marketplace, and their ability to connect, but also control, and to create a new kind of experience for a shopper that is moving, and to make that experience less than commoditized. That's one of the big drivers that's going on, just I think for people on both sides, whether you're a pure play online retailer or you're a traditional brick and mortar. Those two worlds are really collapsing at an astonishing amount of speed. And a lot of retailers coming from brick and mortar, we were talking about this yesterday, they're worried about it. They're not sure exactly how to manage this because they've got such a capex in the store, and they're trying to drive people to the store. But the store is becoming now a secondary or tertiary play for somebody because you can press a button and Amazon Prime can have it tomorrow. So,
yeah. And that's really an area that Foretell is trying to bridge in many places.
That's right. What I'm going to do is talk a little bit about our technology and how we use it. And I think one of the things that's really interesting is, even though this is, the magical personalization, whatever our title is, in fact, there's no magic at all. We're using technology, and what we're doing is we're taking a look at the way their preferences and their behaviors, and it's just like if you have a good salesperson and they can see exactly what somebody's keying in on, they can then adjust their pitch and adjust their product selection and their merchandising and everything else. And so it's actually, it's really innovative technology that creates a predictive algorithm that can put the right product in front of the right consumer no matter where they are.
Do you want to show us about it?
Sure. So I put together a little deck. Is this working?
Top arrow. Very top.
Oh, top arrow, top. Got it. Okay, it's top arrow.
This is the beta version. This is not.
Doesn't seem to be working.
It's okay, we work in technology. Oh, here we are. Okay, got it. All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit about there's the bigger picture of the changing retail landscape. I just mentioned a few things about that. I want to talk a little about empty cart syndrome. A thing that most people are astonished at is that for online retailers, 98% of the people who come to a site and shop, and even if they put something in their cart, they never check out. So can you imagine having a store where you have tons of traffic coming through, and 98% of people never buy. They walk out. And then I want to talk a little bit about the art, science, and recommendations and how we view that. And then at the end, I want to go back to just talk about the bigger picture of cross-channel personalization. And I think that's where Andre will jump in. You'll see how that works. So next generation recommendations. One of the things that's really happened in the last couple of years is that right now, maybe 7 years ago, having a product review or product recommendations on your e-commerce site were nice things to have. Now it's completely changed, and they're antis. If you are in the online retail business, these are the first things that shoppers are looking for, because it's a way to help them navigate through a highly commoditized and confusing retail landscape. So the catch is that for the majority of players out there, the big retailers have these. And in fact, if you take a look at it, 60% of Netflix's sales are influenced by recommendations. Amazon generates $19,000 a minute through products that are bought from recommendations. I mean, it's a game changer. The catch is that recommendations technology has traditionally been very, very complex. A lot of neural networks, filtering systems, and it's often highly expensive. So you could have something, it could be a $20,000 or $30,000 startup fee, and then the vendor has to watch your browser behavior for a month, and then they start building some algorithms, and then you've got to have a team of consultants to run it, and it could be hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to do that. The alternative is, if you you set up an e-commerce store, you choose an e-cart from one of the platform providers, they have recommendations on it, but they're manual recommendations. And so the way to think about recommendations is, if you go into a store, there's fundamental merchandising. Pants are put next to belts, next to shoes, and things like that. And so retailers are always trying to cross or upsell products, and so stores are laid out that way. And so what retailers will often do is they'll go and they will bring their merchandising teams over to the online side, and they will then try to, quote, merchandise the site through recommendations that they would use on the retail floor in the actual physical planogram. The problem is it never works, and anytime your stock gets low or you get a new product or season changes, now it ripples like dominoes through the entire recommendation system, so they're always behind and they're always overwhelmed, and they get very little lift off it. So people often get frustrated and they abandon it. So you've got these really complex systems, and you've got these really basic systems. And so what we've done is our two founders, Ken Levy and Neil Wolfgren, they competed about 5 years ago. Netflix, you've probably heard about this, they crowdsourced. What they wanted was a predictive algorithm that could tell people, oh, if you're watching this movie, you would probably rent these movies next. And they had 41...
Competition, right?
Yeah. They had 40... There was $1 million prize. And they had 41,000 teams entered. And when I say teams, we're talking about teams of scientists from ATT, all these universities around the world. And Ken and Neil didn't win, but they finished within the top 1.5% of entries. They were ranked. And they realized that they had this very powerful algorithm that they could take, and now we could take and create the next generation technology for recommendations. And so what we did is, rather than having these complex consulting-based operations that are totally customized for every single retailer who uses them, we created a suite of integrated products for web, for email, and for mobile. And we came out with a very affordable price point, and what we did is we really streamlined integration. So if you buy our system, one of our products, we can have you up and running within a matter of hours. And you can have real-time, live recommendations that change with every single click. And so it's a game changer for a lot of people. So for example, Columbia Sportswear, local company, they've got multiple sites for different brands they're running. They had 5 sites, they took our product, they bolted it on, and they've been using manual recommendations prior to that, and they saw a 67% jump in the first month on sales of recommended products alone. Our average user gets about an 18% jump on sales of recommended products. So what this does is it personalizes the shopping experience. Because now, when you come on, so if Andre and I were shopping for Porsche accessories, say, right?
Pretty random.
Yeah, I know. So, and we went on to, let's say, a third-party supplier, and we both landed, let's say we were looking at a new set of wheels, and we both went to the same page. We would both see the same recommendations. Neither one of us had ever been on the site before. The minute he started clicking in one direction, I started clicking another, the recommendations would change completely. You make another click, they would change again. And then let's say I think, I like this first set of wheels I went to. I go back, my recommendations changed completely from the first set I saw because they took the influencing behavior decisions and patterns I was making on the other two and now brought that back. So it really personalizes the shopping experience and it does it in real time. And so the big thing this does is it converts browsers to buyers. So unfortunately we didn't in the video, but we've proven that what we can do is we can create a really dramatic lift from people who would be browsing and then never buying to people who would actually putting something in the cart and then closing the transaction. And we also get significantly larger order values than you would if you didn't have recommendations as well. This creates a better experience. If you have a better experience, you're going to get long-term loyalty. That's the holy grail for a lot of retailers. And the bigger thing is it lowers your cost with automation because A, you don't have to have bodies doing a manual thing. The other thing is everybody's spending a ton of money on SEM, SEO, and what happens is you'll see we generate a big lift in terms of the number of pages and the amount of time people spend on the site because now they're looking at recommendations and they're following through and they're clicking, and this is a double-digit multiple. And so what that does is that really amortizes the overall investment you're making in your SEO. So. So what we get is, as I said, we get a jump, we get an almost 4% jump in conversion rate for browsers to buyers, right? There's a big jump in the number of products viewed and revenue that's increased up to 25%. We offer a 10 times ROI guarantee if you use our product. And we always exceed it. 18% is usually our threshold. 25% is non-common. We influence more than 20% of the overall revenue, and then you get increased customer loyalty. So there are 4 primary types of recommendations, and this is the way to think about merchandising if you were in a store. So cross-sell, it's complementary products. You put pants with a shirt, you put pants with belts. That's why you see socks next to the shoe department, things like that. The big thing most resellers are looking for is to upsell. So the thing is, I'm looking at shirts, but here's some products I'm recommending, and they're also shirts, but they're at a higher price point. So you're going to increase your margin. Or let's say you're looking at shoes. I'm just supposing for example, but you're looking at shoes. We would show belts rather than socks on an upsell because belts are more expensive and have a bigger margin. Then you have top sellers. These tend to be seasonal items. It's going to vary with ski season, Halloween, Thanksgiving, things that they're often at the front of the store when you come in so people see them. So a lot of times that might be in the first recommendation set. But the biggest thing we do is the one-to-one dynamically personalized items likely to buy. So we can tell by the products you're looking at in real time what other consumers have looked at in the past and the items you would be most likely to buy. And so we can push them out. So if you look at this, I just grabbed a couple of quick screenshots. The upper circle here, this is a traditional cross-sell. You've got a tool, you're looking at it, here are similar tools from other manufacturers, but then down the bottom, here's an upsell. Here's tools, same tool, higher price point. Now you can also do personalized cross-sell in the cart. So you've already made your purchase, you're in there, and you're about to check out, and all of a sudden you look down and you see, oh, other people who bought this kind of product also bought this, and you can now drive an extra sale at the checkout. The big thing we're doing right now is email, and you're seeing more and more of this because, you know, you make an online order, you actually buy something, there's multiple emails that, you know, product confirmation, order shipment, you know, just asking for a review, you know, welcome if you've actually signed up and registered. Well, these are all opportunities to push products based on your behavior and preferences to the shopper, and they're not on your site. And the cost of an email is a fraction of the cost of even something like Google AdWords. And it's personalized, and it's coming right to their site. They're going to open it because it's a transactional email, and you get yet another touch after the fact. So email is becoming really popular. I've noticed Amazon has really dramatically increased their email program just in the last 6 months in the way they're using it. So how do we do this? How does their technology work? Make sure this animation goes. All right. So the animation not working. So the way this is designed to do, what it shows is that what we do is when somebody buys one of our products, we go to them and we get what we call the wisdom of the crowd. We get their sales order history, we get their product catalog, we get the customer behaviors they've logged on, and we upload this to our engine, and then it analyzes that and automatically makes all the recommendations. And what's really interesting is if somebody's been doing manual recommendations, when they start seeing the automated recommendations, they're like, oh no, that's wrong, that's wrong. They're like, no, that's actually right, because shopping online is a very different experience, or shopping on your phone is a very different experience. And then they start to see the lift, and they get the statistical sales data, and it actually works. And then what we do is we deliver recommendations in less than a second. Sometimes our recs can load faster than the actual web page. So it is real time, and then what it does is it pushes out, and it doesn't matter where you are, if you're shopping on an iPad, if you're shopping on your phone, if you're in the store, if you're at the store's POS, if you're at a customer call center, we can deliver recommendations to all those places. And so what we do is we also have, we didn't want to create a big stat pack because if you've got a website, everybody I know is on Google Analytics. And so we have an interface you plug right into Google Analytics, and then through the e-commerce section, this is an actual screenshot from one of our customers. You can actually track the lift, the visits, the time on page, and it's for real. People, it's astounding because the numbers we're talking about are all proven by Google Analytics. So finally, the last thing I want to talk about is that we started talking about this at the beginning. What's happening is the delta between online and offline retail environment is collapsing. And if you talk to retailers, they will tell you that the holy grail for them is a seamless environment where they can connect with the shopper through any medium possible. And so what we've got here is we've got, you know, shoppers who are, the thing is now retailers have, you know, depending on how many social media channels they've got anywhere from 12 to 18 channels out there where their users can come in and out. The problem is that the customer has turned into an empowered moving target. And we don't live in the service economy anymore, we live in the self-service economy. And I think it's something 42% of all customers use at least 2 technologies to shop these days. They educate themselves, and we've got high turnover in retail. I think the average career trajectory of a Target employee is 6 weeks. And there's no way that the employees can keep up in brick and mortar with the changing inventory and complexity of the products. And so customers are much more empowered because of the technology. And so now the challenge for retailers is how to be able to seamlessly deliver recommendations that are personalized across all channels in real time to connect with them and provide that positive experience. And that's what we're doing.
So in many ways, what it sounds like is if the average lifespan of or work span, I guess, of a Target employee is 6 weeks, is this technology is it has more grounding and it's more of a baseline knowledge than a lot of the employees in these stores will have in many cases.
That's right. In fact, there was a recent study done by Accenture, and they found that 61% of retailers believe that their consumers are better informed about their product line than their sales staff. And so what we like to say is that, you know, if you take a look at this technology, it's almost like what we're doing is taking your best salesperson, who's anticipating needs, seeing interest, picking up on cues, and being able to deliver products that perhaps they hadn't thought about when they came onto your store.
And that really leads into what Embody's doing in a lot of ways in sort of the apparel industry with some of the technologies and not just supplementing brick and mortar stores, but actually complementing a lot of those. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So for Embody, one of the beautiful things about Fortel is it's category agnostic, and you use several apparel examples in your talk here, Tom. But what we see is apparel is a huge category within itself. It's about a $250 billion plus retail category, online and offline in the United States alone. More than triple that worldwide, so it's gargantuan. It's a basic human need. It's something everybody engages in and uses and buys, of course. It is the largest product category online, believe it or not. It's over 25 billion at last count in the US alone. So the amazing thing is 25 billion out of 250 billion, that's hovering around a 10% mark. So as a percent of the total potential of moving apparel through the online medium or aided by the online medium, apparel is a laggard. Amazon wiped out bookstores essentially, and books are mostly bought online. Music, all digital goods pretty much have migrated to the online medium. Hard goods are happening too. Apparel is a different case because apparel has unique attributes. For example, apparel is a lot about self-identification, self-representation, and feeling good. And for you to be able to pick a piece of apparel, you can't just rely on a recommendation from a friend, let's say. In fact, girls would often avoid something some girlfriends weren't wearing because they're only wearing the same thing. So that's a bit of an issue. The other big issue with apparel is fit. It's really unique to you. You really have to know how something fits you in order for you to transact it safely. And that's the case in-store or offline. Online, in-store you have the opportunity to try, but it's a lot of work, to go find something. So apparel is a unique category within e-commerce, and that's the side of it that hasn't really been addressed, and we believe it's one of the key reasons apparel is held back.
And the fit is something that Embody is addressing right now, right?
Yeah, it is. We are doing really two things at Embody, and maybe I could have the AV switched here to this input. Yep, thanks for live. So what we focus on at Embody, and just a quick aside, we're here in downtown Portland, Washington, at Broadway. We're not part of the crawl, but if anybody wants to see us, just look up embody.com and drop us a note. We're happy to talk and be connected with the community here. I've been in Portland forever, although I split my life between here and the Bay Area. I'm very much a Portlander, and love the area, so looking to meet you out there. But Embody was founded a few years ago with this mission to create personalized garment experiences and to facilitate them via the web and to be able to do it at scale. And what we mean by that is taking apparel into the digital realm in a way that hasn't been done before. For us to be able to do that, that meant we had to imbue apparel with a level of realism that when it's portrayed via a digital medium, it's comparable to high-quality photography. Yet at the same time, make that apparel be able to come alive, to be customized, personalized, to be tried on a specific person with a level of fidelity that requires really serious 3D computational ability and ability to simulate fit or to alter the garments before they're ordered. And so that's what we set out to do, and we're aiming to deliver both, which hasn't been done before. Now, why would we want to do that? There's really two categories. One is in the apparel space, there's a desire by many brands to personalize product. And the reason they have that desire is really simple differentiation. We're in a mass market economy. There's bazillion products out there. It's undifferentiated product, and many consumers are looking for something that more closely meets their needs or allows them to express themselves in a way that's unique to them. And the majority of product today is made in the Far East. It comes in on big boats in huge quantities, it's distributed all over the US, and then it sits there and hopes it finds a buyer. Well, many brands know that if they can move closer to a consumer and more closely deliver something that's unique to them, they can do multiple things. First of all, it's an order that's usually made for the consumer, So it's a higher margin order because there's no direct comparison with competition. Second of all, it allows them to do some nearshore optimizations or manufacturing. Sometimes it's mass market product that's further optimized or customized. Sometimes it's product that's made here. So it also helps play this whole local angle for many of them. So for those reasons, brands are rushing and retailers are looking to offer more personalized product. I have a few examples here. Again, apparel is a tough one. So that's one application we serve, and the other is to be able to find mass market merchandise that fits you better. I'm prepared to speak about both a little bit.
Sure, please do. And so it's really about individualizing the apparel market in a lot of ways.
It is both for product on one domain and for finding better fitting product more quickly, more efficiently among the sea of options we have out there.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So when we talk about personalization of apparel, today what's out there is very crude and primitive. But when we talk about ability to deliver high quality, realistic garments, I'm talking about levels of quality like you're seeing up here. So rather than show you some slides, I'll show you some images of apparel product that looks like a photograph here, okay? But in fact, this is a computer rendering that's generated live in the cloud and has the ability to take on any attributes that the system is set up to support, which of course is determined in collaboration with a particular brand. So I'll zoom in here and you can see that this is indistinguishable from a photograph, but in fact it is digitally simulated on a torso in a particular configuration. I'll give you a few more examples just so you get a sense of the quality. Same thing here, this is a computer simulated drape of a sports football shirt. You see wrinkles, you see stitches, you see everything. You see a numeral here and some text on it. That is an example of something people like to customize easily. You know, there's lots of examples. So,
and so the wrinkles and those details are things that, you know, the average person, I may not, myself for instance, may not notice, but it really provides that realism quality to it.
And in the second type of application, which is the try-on, it's actually unique to you. If you have a different shaped body, if you're a little bit heavier set or a little skinnier, that drape of that garment is going to be unique to you. I'll show you that in the try-on here shortly. So, first thing is we aim for tremendous visual quality. The product's king. People are trying to sell the product. The last thing they want to do is come in with some Mickey Mouse representation that really doesn't represent it. So talking about personalization of product, one market leader here in this space is Nike. Nike ID is a sub-brand of Nike's that's been around for over a decade. They've been a leader in this. They're recognized in the shoe industry. Many people try to emulate them. And this is just a screenshot of the current Nike ID landing page. So Nike really knows what they're doing here. In apparel, it's somewhat harder than in shoes because of all those unique apparel attributes of fit and a lot of detail and a lot more complexity. So Nike came to us and said, hey, we want to overhaul the way we sell team sports uniforms. Now here we're customizing or personalizing at a team level rather than individual level, but the technology is the same. So our platform that we've built and launched here on behalf of Nike, or in support of Nike initially, is now available to the market to offer any type of apparel customization, whether it's polo shirts or golf shirts or what have you. But this is the application that we launched last year. Nike Team Sports had a similar application in the market, but it was very simple. It was crude. It was leading for its time, but it was really lacking. Now they want to sell via their team dealer channel. So these are dealers that go out to schools, high schools and colleges across America. And they go in there and they say, what are your school colors? And let us offer you some examples of uniforms that you can buy for your athletes. And they hooked us up with RGA out in New York, their key agency. And they asked us if we could significantly change the game and up-level the quality of this online experience. And so I have a little 1-minute video here that's going to quickly run you through what that does on the Nike site. And everything you see here, every piece of apparel, every uniform, every digitization, every customization that you'll see in this video is powered by Embody Server sitting in the cloud, streaming this imagery based on consumer or user input, all right? So what you see here is the Nike Team Sports website, a user scrolling through a bunch of soccer uniforms. All of that imagery is Embody powered. When you notice occasionally there'll be a loading indicator, that's the Embody Server going to work the users picked a starting point for a football uniform. It says, okay, this could be now a deal of prepping for a sales meeting to go in with a preset set of options, or it could be a coach or even some of the student athletes. In these uniforms, there's millions of possible options that can be exercised before you order it. And when these orders go in, they're for tens of players, home and away. These are expensive uniforms. These are sizable orders. So you really don't want to be making a huge batch of these and delivering them to a school and have kind of disappointed athletes. So this level of realism and interactivity is key to kind of set the proper expectation, set a high expectation, yet also be able to meet it. So here there is cuff stripes and options for cuff stripes, coloring of them. There's the ability to, of course, put any team names in multiple locations that are predefined but not set, that need to be selected. There's the ability to build the uniform upper and lower and different combinations thereof. There's ability, as I said earlier, to match color schemes that the school may have. There's the ability to do all this customization on athletes. So clicking on the athlete in any of these views allows you to highlight that section of the garment, and then you see context-sensitive menus. The whole front end here is a flash front end, but all the renderings and the image delivery is done via the Embody API. Any point in time, you can hit a 360 button, and you can get any point of view on the uniform in progress. And if you like it, you'll put it in what they call a locker and put it up for vote to maybe the athletes themselves, and choose the favorite design that the order goes.
And how did, just curious here, how did schools make their purchases in the past?
They still make them, they've made them in the past when a dealer would go in with line art. So they basically had line art, catalog, and you chose the uniform. And you said, well, I think I wanted red here and blue here, and you kind of squinted and imagined a little bit, and got a pat in the back, let's order, right? That's how it used to be.
So this is speeding up the process and getting them something much closer, even exactly what they want.
Yeah, and hopefully also encouraging them to buy the Nike product because they can see it in full fidelity and see really how much quality they can expect.
Fantastic.
So we're excited to have served that project. We're open for business now on a broader personalization of apparel product scale. We're in the process of launching some new customers. We have just brought up, and we'll be launching this month, our new backend for hosted services. So instead of having to buy this whole infrastructure as we've done in the past, you will now be able, as a developer out there, to come in with an apparel target and have us digitize the apparel, and then it's available via an API. You can build any kind of experience on top of it. Bring the apparel alive, allow it to be seen from any angle, change the lighting on it if you'd like, customize it if that's something the customer wants to do, or to have a consumer come in and try on standard apparel, which is what I'd like to show you next. Apparel, as I've said, is a big category online, but the laggard in terms of the online medium being an effective delivery and shopping mechanism. About 36%, the second highest category of purchase intent for online purchases, but a huge struggle in getting that cart closed with something in it, and even then the return rates are among the highest in the industry. It depends by subcategory in apparel, but it ranges from 15 to 40% of apparel bought online is returned, and that doesn't count the number of apparel items sitting on a closet shelf somewhere at home where you've been too lazy to return it, or you're not feeling good about it, but you didn't bother to return it. So there's a lot of consumer dissatisfaction that gets generated with online purchases of apparel, and that's never good for a brand or a retailer. So part of the problem is that apparel is sold with a lot of inspiring photography. It's part of this appealing to someone's sense of what they want to be, but then when they wind up in front of the mirror with the box that they excitedly open, there's the moment of truth, and this is something many retailers struggle with. They know that moment of truth is out there. They cannot avoid it or dodge it. It will occur, but in order to get you to buy in the first place and kind of overcome that hesitancy, they have to inspire you with as much inspiration as they can give you. So we think that's not a good approach. We think, and many brands agree, a better approach is to go for customer satisfaction and to avoid this frustration here. And this guy comes back to pick up your boxes. So we've piloted this technology with a company called Hurley. Hurley is out of Costa Mesa down in the LA area. And we have live at hurley.embody.com. We power their pant selection, mainly their denim sales. And what happens in this Hurley site, if you go visit it and buy some pants, please, we get a commission, is you get presented with their normal assortment, but the depiction of product will be personalized to you. And I'll show you in a second how that works. On the Hurley site, you enter your height, weight, and gender, and with those 3 pieces of data, we'll take more if you'd like to give it to us, but to get you started with those 3 pieces of data, we'll redraw the entire store on a silhouette in sizes that are likely to fit you, and give you a sense of the product on you in a silhouette that this product generates on a torso shaped as yours. Now you might ask, height, gender, weight, that's not a lot of information, and you're right, it isn't. But we have a really sophisticated way to index into the population of the United States, and we have a huge set of body scans, over 10,000 for both each gender, that has a very good sense of how height, weight index into likely body shapes. And if you give us a little more information, we'll further create a torso that is likely to be representative of you. So that's just a brief techie side talk on what we do. We then take your body and we simulate it against the universe of product and put the product forward only in a size that makes sense for you and in a depiction that's now unique to you. And everything you look now is shopping through your own torso. This has been live for 2 seasons. We monitor the user satisfaction here. We have a score of 4.75 at the moment out of a possible 5. From all respondents have chosen to opt in to give us feedback. You see that little upper blue triangle. If you hit that with 1 click, a second click allows you to send us a 0 to 5 score. So real easy. A few people choose to write in comments, and when they do, we love them. And we can truly and proudly say that we're knocked off our, we're just blown away by the positive embrace that we've gotten from their demographic, which is a younger demographic. I'll admit it's between 15 to 22, but they love this technology and they really, really like the idea. Hurley likes this part. Sales are up, we think 40% on this category as a result of the technology, give or take, and the returns are down a little over a third over the prior period when the technology was not in use. So we're encouraged by this feedback, and we're looking to scale this now with some of the learnings to kind of the next level. And that's what I'd like to give the audience here today a little sneak peek on, something that isn't launched yet, so I'll call this a tech demo. It's not in the market, but where we're going with this technology is we want to make it broadly available to cross-brand and cross-retailer next year. And to do so, we want to do it in a mobile, touch-friendly way. And we're working on this, and I'm prepared to give you kind of a sneak peek of where that sits.
That'd be great, and I should have said this at the beginning, but we're going to have time for questions at the end, so if you have any questions, you can start making your way to the mic right now.
All right, so what I've loaded here is a native web app, HTML5, that looks pretty much like an app, and it'll probably wind up being an app, but we're designing this technology so it is not only restricted to the mobile environment, but can also easily be integrated in the backend. So retailers using HTML, so it's got an HTML core, HTML5 core. What you see here is a collection of denim pants. In this case, these are Hurley products. You can select between male and female products, and when you do and hit any one of these products, you get a preview of it. You can hit this high-res button so you get a little better view. And products are not just shown front and back. Products can be shown any point of view possible. Now, when a first-time shopper comes in here, a little message floats in, says, want to know your size. You notice there's no size information. In fact, it's fairly sparse. It's highly visual. That's by intent. We want to communicate to you visually and immediately with silhouettes. And an unsuspecting consumer hitting upon this, want to try on my size, you hit this little tab here, and what comes up is the ability to personalize this experience. experience now to a particular shopper. So I'm going to run around here with some extremes to make it easy to follow on screen. So just watch what happens when I take this girl from 5'7", 120 to 5'11" for a moment. I will go and maybe put in about 155 pounds. On the first couple of hits, it does a bunch of computation and then it starts adjusting the silhouette. So you notice the girl just got taller and she got a little more heavy set. I'm going to take the weight down again a little without changing the height, and she should be getting skinnier and skinnier. And it's getting to a point where a 5'11" girl isn't likely going to come in 111 pounds. And you see it responds right away. The other thing you can notice as I'm changing, for example, the weight here, 5'11", 175, maybe a little more typical, is that the waist, the hips, and the inseam automatically move to lightly waist, hips, and inseams for a girl at 5'11", 175. We know this through statistic indexing of height-weight combinations. Therefore, we will likely to catch you, but if you're different, and many of you are, you can go in there and say, okay, my hips are really not that big. And when you do that, you're further refining yourself and you're increasing both your personal confidence that the recommendation will be truly unique to you, and you're also enabled now to really see yourself better. So back to maybe a more typical 5'9", 145 girl. What do you guys think? There you go. And I'll just say, and of course you can do this in metric if you prefer, that's trivial, and you can say save off my body. So when I say save, watch carefully what happens. Two things will happen. First of all, this body, of course, is now for you, and the whole store will be working on you, and you'll start seeing sizes that are for you. And the store on the left will redraw, and the silhouette will start matching all SKUs. So I'm saving my body, and as I've done so, you've noticed at the top of the screen there's a size that appears, and the system thinks you're likely a 29, and it's showing you in a 29 in this SKU, and all the SKUs on the left are now on that exact same body shape and silhouette. So this is cool, and I can start browsing different SKUs, and I can say, yeah, I kind of recognize myself in this, and do I like a boot cut that makes me look maybe a little slimmer and balances my hips, or do I prefer skinny pants because I live in Portland? If I don't wear skinny pants and ride a bike, I'm never going to be anybody. It's your choice. Or what kind of wash do I like, or how would I look in a bigger size? So for that, we have something called compare. And when you hit compare, what happens is the current SKU you're looking at gets drawn off to the side and pinned, and it's making the left pane available for you to look at a different SKU side by side. Now, as I scroll, I look at two different styles in two different potentially sizes at the same point of view. So you really can dial in, okay, what's the silhouette look like? I can do something else as well. I can say, okay, give me that in a 30, and what happens is the 30 is loaded on your body, and it just got a little longer, and you can see it's throwing a lot more wrinkles. Okay, so I can say, I like that 30, I like the little looser fit, probably not for Portland. I'll pin that off to the right. And you can keep going with this, and it's obvious how it helps you. You can also do something else, and that's you can load a deeper look into yourself, and that's what we call the comfort map, or the X-ray vision for you. And you can see just how tight is this puppy on me. And this one isn't too tight. It's loose. White is loose. Yellow-orange is comfortable but not very tight. So not good enough for a kind of written too often on this joke for a biking girl. So she might choose another size. I'm going to jump 2 sizes down and see what happens to the color depiction to the right. A lot more heat in there, and a lot more tight, so I think I'll go with that. One last look in high res, and at this point you submit your card, and hopefully with a lot more confidence. So that's the kind of the sneak peek.